Daniel Bwala, Special Advisor to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on policy communication. Daniel, a very warm welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on RT today. It's great to have you on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm just going to cut to the chase with you very quickly here. When it comes to suddenly finding yourself on the crosshairs of the Trump administration, you may be Ukraine, you may be Venezuela, you may be Gaza, you may be Syria. Oh, guess what? Now you may be Nigeria. The US president threatening to deploy American troops to your country. What is your nation's response, please, Daniel?
We try our best to downplay the rhetoric because we know for sure that can't be the reflection of the realities on ground. The decision of President Trump is anchored on the various tweets and pushes by congressmen. And the congressmen rely on a data and report that were submitted by a separatist group in Nigeria called the IPOB. That there's a genocide of Christians in Nigeria, which is false, because all intelligence and non-governmental organizations that carry out their research and data about killings in Nigeria, none but these two that have affiliation with IPOB that indicated that there is a Christian genocide. In fact, even the content of the data contradict that. For example, the Inter-Society Civil Liberties and Human Rights that produced that report tried to allege that the killings of IPOB separatist group in the southeastern Nigeria were conducted by the Nigerian forces, and that the killing of even the citizens of the southeast were conducted by the Nigerian forces under the pretext that because the people in the southeast have Jewish history and tradition. And it is very unfortunate. The second report, which is by Observatory for Religious Freedom in Africa, in their own report, they admitted that there have been more killings of people who have not identified as Christians or Muslims. They are followed by the killings of Christians, and thirdly, by the killings of the Muslims. But they concluded that these killings were conducted by Fulani militia, meaning that they kill Christians, they kill Muslims, and they kill non-Christians and non-Muslims. Yeah. How can you write a report like that and also conclude that there is a genocide of one of them?
Yeah, I mean, I was just reading your interview with the BBC recently, and they were saying that there are various groups that are monitoring the violence. They say there's no evidence to suggest that Christians are being killed more than the Muslims in Nigeria, as you are saying, it's roughly evenly divided, I guess, between followers of both religions. In fact, you know what? Going back to this interview with the BBC, by the way, you were in this interview, they said that claims of a genocide against Nigeria's Christians have been circulating in recent weeks and months in some right-wing American circles. How would you break down those last words I just said?
I quite agree, and let me tell you further. In fact, there is this investigative report that was conducted 2 weeks ago in Nigeria that suggested that hoax, that narrative, was amplified by the separatist group called the IPOB since 2016, that there is a Christian genocide and that the genocide is against them because they have a Jewish tradition. But the amplification now affected the people of the right wing of the Republican Party in the United States, which was pushed by Senator Ted Cruz and followed by Riley Moore. These are senators who have lost the favor and favor with the MAGA base because they were considered and are still considered as people that have pandered so much to the AIPAC and the AIPAC-backed agenda. So they are trying to reinvent themselves. That is why they now found a good distraction in Nigeria. That's what the reports and is saying. But we as a country, we try to be responsible enough to focus on the solution and not the problem. And our point is this: there have been killings in Nigeria because of the exceptional situation that we find ourselves. Our government has made massive progress in the fight against insecurity, and we're calling on Donald Trump to assist us with military apparatus that is requisite for us to fight insecurity. We do not need the boots of the American soldiers in our soil. There has to be a respect of our territorial integrity.
Yeah, strong comment there, Daniel. I appreciate that. As you are live now on network television, I hope your message is getting across to all the right people. Daniel, I wanted to ask you, break down this commentary for me, if you would. The head of state of Sudan, the commander-in-chief of the Sudanese Armed Forces, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, has said, and let me just say this to you, the head of Sudan has said the CIA and Mossad are behind the killings in Nigeria. Abdel al-Burhan says the US military is going to invade Nigeria to kill ISIS terrorists that the CIA funds. He goes on to say, use a terror group like ISIS or Boko Haram that you created to cause chaos, then come in and solve the chaos. Can you help me get my head around those comments?
Then that means if the story or the report is correct, then it fits into the narrative of creating a problem, provide solution, and reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
You see, as a government, we don't want to heat up the polity, but if you recall, there was a congressional hearing